What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the broader markets, and break down some big news that came out involving Tesla that's quite bullish, and where Tesla stock is going to likely be going as we have some more insights to look at and charts to analyze. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link that's down below, or use my QR code right over here to sign up. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 of free NVIDIA stock. If you deposit $2,000 or more, you're going to get $50 worth of NVIDIA plus a $100 cash reward. Deposit $10,000 or more and get $300 worth of NVIDIA stock for free plus a $100 cash reward, or deposit $50,000 to get $1,000 of free NVIDIA stock plus $100. You're also going to qualify for an 8.1% APY on invested cash, and the offer ends very soon, so please use my QR code right over here to get those free NVIDIA shares. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with Tesla. So looking at Tesla stock, as you can tell, we've been on a very, very nice uptrend. The first thing that's worth noting is that Tesla's making higher lows over and over and over again, which is a very, very good sign that we're going to try to go a little bit higher to once again test this upper trend line. But notice that every time we hit 430 to 435, we do like to reject on Tesla and kind of turn back down. So we're going to see if we get some kind of breakout or not, especially as time goes on. Now, if we lose 414.5, which is where our 20 EMA happens to be, we could start dipping a lot lower as we have a gap below. But as of right now, we're making higher lows, and I think we're doing a great job, and we could be pushing even more. So for now, I think Tesla's doing a fantastic job. Now, there was some good news that came out, at least for Tesla. So the reports are saying that Tesla has won approval to test their autonomous vehicles in Arizona, and this is great news. Tesla has been testing their autonomous vehicles in many different states, right? And now they have once again gotten approval to start testing these autonomous vehicles with the safety monitor in Arizona. So the Robotaxi is going to be expanding to Arizona, and they're working on the tests right now. They reached out to the Arizona Department of Transportation in late June, and once again, they got the certifications, and this is fantastic news. This is also marking the third autonomous test states. If anything, I would say it's actually the fourth state, because remember, we had Austin, Texas, then we had Nevada, and then California also has it, but they're not like fully considered autonomous, because once again, they're using an unreleased version of FSD software, and then there also has to be a safety monitor in the front seats, which is why it's not really counting that in this article. But it's still technically there, and I just want to say that it's eventually going to be expanding to California as they're working on tests and trying to improve it. But nonetheless, the Tesla Robotaxi is either fully or partially active in many different states in America, and it's going to continue to expand as time goes on. So we have it partially being activated in California. We're having tests being done in Nevada, Texas, and now Arizona. And as time goes on, we're going to see even more cities. Eventually, it's going to be in New York City. It's going to be in parts of Florida. It's going to be all over the U.S. and partially other areas as well, eventually in China, eventually in Europe, potentially. I've heard reports about that, how Elon Musk has been talking about that as well. But those are going to be stories for other days, because that's a lot more into the longer term. But for now, we're seeing in real time the robotaxi is being tested and expanding in all these different states in the US, and this is extremely bullish news. So this could be a driving factor for Tesla for tomorrow if we get lots of good news to help this try to push higher. If there's a really, really bad headline, I just don't want to see Tesla lose 414. For now, we're holding up quite well. Now, just a couple more things. Keep in mind that tomorrow is going to be Monday, September 22nd, 2025. In the morning, we have the Chicago Fed National Activity Index, which is very minor, alongside a couple of Fed speakers at 9:45 and 10 a.m. Then we have some bill auctions at 11:30 a.m., which could be causing some volatility, so be ready for that. Besides that, I didn't really see anything else that's too crazy, at least on the news. President Trump has been talking about how he wants to impose tariffs on semiconductors, and he wants to see China pay more tariffs. But as of right now, there's no confirmation of the exact details. He did speak on the phone with Xi Jinping, the president of China. He said they had a very eventful conversation, but we don't really have much else yet from what I'm seeing on President Trump's Truth Social page and such. Besides that, the Fear and Greed Index is currently at greed. Momentum is at greed for the S&P 500. And then on top of this, the put to call option ratio is dipping to the extreme create levels, which is typically when the market forms a top. But as of right now, we don't really have confirmation of that. And the VIX remains neutral, at least for the time being. So that basically tells us the market is holding up well. So I'm going to conclude the video by just going over the charts for all these different tickers. And I'm not going to go over anything else in full detail. So I just want to say that for now, we're making higher lows, and higher lows on Tesla. And we're going to likely continue this trend, attempting to get close to like 435 tomorrow. Now, if we are bullish, you want to see 435 break and start breaking out for the 440s. If we're bearish, you want to see Tesla lose 414 tomorrow. 414 fails us. This is going to be at risk of dipping towards 402. In my opinion, what I predict is going to happen is that Tesla is going to be pushing for 435. I think we push for 435. And then I think that we might actually come down a bit, just like we've been doing. But so long as we make a higher low compared to this low, we could be trying to push back up to 440 later on and continue to break out higher like this. We could be looking for a move like this on Tesla for the 440s. Now, here's the thing about Tesla that I did notice, and I did talk about this in my previous videos. Although Tesla's holding up quite well, keep in mind that we have this kind of pattern right here. Notice that Tesla had a giant inverse head and shoulders. And what I mean is that on the daily time frame, there was a time when Tesla basically was at this 440 area, right? We got the rejection. We came all the way down to like 377, then we bounced. If we're about to form a symmetrical structure, I would warn you to be very careful at 440. As Tesla gets close to 440, are we about to see this thing kind of like slow down? Are we about to break through that? And it depends, but just be very careful here because there were times where Tesla got rejections off 440. It's going to be a very, very tough resistance. And even if we do turn down a little bit, that could just be another buying opportunity for that 500 NVDA target. But just keep that in mind to be careful at 440 on Tesla. We'll see if Tesla just breaks through it or not. It is going to be a very, very tough resistance, at least historically. So we're not going to worry about it yet. Let's just see when we get there. But I just want to say that for now, we should push for 435 or so. We'll see if we turn down a bit, then eventually get back up to 440. And I'd be careful here. We'll see if we should pass 440 or not, but be careful at that resistance. This is going to be a little bit tough for Tesla once we get up to this 440 mark. But yes, we're still bullish for now, so just play the trend in front of you and remain unbiased. Now, in terms of SPY, on the 4-hour time frame, we're bouncing, and bouncing off our 20 EMA. If you want to be a bear, you want to see SPY basically fail at 660, which is the 20 EMA, and then 658. If those fails, we're going to be looking for a big move down. But if we're bullish, if you want to be a big bull, you want to see SPY basically break past 665. If that breaks, we're looking for 666 and 667.5 as our potential targets. I think there's a very, very good chance we do try to go a little bit higher nonetheless. So as we're trying to bounce off this 20 EMA, I think the odds are going to be favoring us basically trying to continue to uptrend. And we could be looking for basically 665 or above, or maybe new all-time highs on SPY. And then we're going to see if we turn from there, but there is going to likely be new all-time highs. We have not lost our green line right here. See the green line, our 20 EMA. We're bouncing and bouncing and bouncing off of this. So for now, the chart remains more bullish. And tomorrow, I would not be surprised if SPY tries to go a little bit higher. Sometimes we do dip a little bit before we just get bought back up and then we push for all-time highs. But as of right now, we're favoring consolidation, the more the new all-time highs, unless we end up losing the 660 and 658 supports. For now, SPY is looking more bullish to me. On the QQQ, we're looking bullish. We're breaking all-time highs, going for 600. I do believe 600 is going to be a very psychological level. We might start off with a dip in the morning, then push for that 600 target. If we hold above 600, we're looking for 602. Now, if you want to be a bear, you want to see us basically lose 594. 594 fills us. We're looking for a big move back down. But as of right now, we're just continuing to bounce off our key supports, and we're favoring 600 to 602, and we'll see if we can break that on the triple Q. For now, we are bullish until we're not, and we are still holding up nicely. Now, the bears could argue that there is a rising wedge that's still valid. Yeah, you can make that argument, but there's no sign of us basically losing support yet. So it doesn't really make sense to turn really bearish yet until we truly do that. So for now, we're just bullish. On the IWM, if we end up losing 241.5, we're looking for a dip to 238. If we break past 245, we're looking for a big bounce. We're favoring a test of 241.5 to 240. And then we're going to see if we could bounce off this on the IWM again. If we lose 241, we're going to be dipping to 238. But as long as we could bounce off this, we're looking for a retest of the high. Hopefully, we could hold 241. We'll see if it holds or not. But for now, there is potential based off the chart. Looking at ES, it's still quite bullish. As you guys can tell, we're just making higher highs and higher lows. If we lose 66.89, we're looking for 66.56. But as long as we hold 66.89, we're going to likely continue to uptrend for 67.50. And then we'll see if we reject near there. That's going to be a tough resistance. For now, we're still bullish. As long as 66.89 holds on ES, we're still looking bullish to me. NQ is looking more bullish as well. We have not lost 24,658. For now, we're holding above it, so we're going to be favoring an uptrend for 25,000. As you can tell, we're making higher highs and higher lows. I think we're still looking quite solid. Bitcoin's looking kind of weak on the 4-hour. There is support right here around 115,000. Could we dip a bit more? Yes, we can. But I want to see us basically bounce near 115,000, push back up towards 116,000. So it could be forming kind of like a double bottom here on Bitcoin. As long as we hold support, there's a good chance we try to bounce. Now, like I said about Tesla, it's going to likely be led by SPY and the QQQ as we're trying to make higher lows. So we're favoring 435 tomorrow morning. We might dip and then bounce for 435. Then we'll see if we reject off that. As long as we continue to make higher lows, we should eventually uptrend for 440. And then I'd be very careful at that resistance because what we see historically on the charts, we're going to likely continue to uptrend for that 440 target. On Nvda, I'm a little bit concerned about this because see the white trend line we rejected many times off the white trend line acting as resistance. If we break this, we're looking for 178 and then 180 is our resistances, but our support's at 175. So could we retest 175? Yes. And we're going to see if we bounce off this or not. Look for 175 and we'll see what kind of reaction we get. Apple's looking more bullish. If we lose 244, we're looking for 242.5. But our resistance is going to be around this 246.5 area. If we break that, we're going to be looking for 248. I think Apple's going to be retesting 246.5 then 248. And overall, we're looking a bit more bullish. Netflix looks decent. We have a cup and handle like pattern. Now, I also want to note that if you look at this, you could draw a trend line like this. By the way, see how we're just making higher lows on Netflix. We look pretty good. So if you take a trend line like this, we're going to draw out a white line instead. What you'll see is that we are forming a cup and handle, and we're actually bouncing off this trend line. So we might dip towards the trend line, then continue to bounce an uptrend for essentially 1250 plus, and eventually 1275 is possible. But for now, we're looking for 1250 as our target if this continues. As long as we hold this trend line, we're looking bullish on Netflix, in my opinion. On MSTR is the same thing as Netflix, now trying to bounce the last couple of days. So if you draw a trend line like this, you'll see that we're just trying to make higher lows. Maybe we could adjust this just a little bit. What you'll see is that we're just bouncing and bouncing and bouncing off this trend line. And this would also be favoring a push for 360 very soon. As long as 337 right here does not fail us, we're going to likely continue to favor upside. Celsius also has a bullish divergence. If we lose 53.6, we're going to be turning back down, but we have resistance at 55.8. We're favoring 55.8 as our target, and we'll see how it goes. So there should be a temporary bounce. On Supermicro, we're actually making higher lows over and over again. We're actually kind of like range bound right now, right? As we push around 47.16, we like to reject. But as we get down here around 43, we like to bounce. So we could retest 45.4. We need to hold this and bounce off this. If we don't hold 45.4, we're going to be dumping a lot lower. So hopefully we bounce near 45 to continue to go higher. Palantir is making higher lows. If we end up losing basically 180, we're going to be turning back down to 175. Look for a test of 180, and we'll see if we bounce right over here. Start pushing back up towards that 188 area, so be very, very careful. For Rivian has a nice accumulation right over here. If we lose 14.27, we're going to be turning back down lower to 14. But as long as we hold 14, we could continue to bounce back up towards this 14.8 area. So we're actually making higher lows right here. If we lose 14 flat, we're looking for a dump, but for now, we're actually looking a bit more bullish. For so far, we're making higher lows all over again. As long as we don't lose 27.8, we're going to be favoring this 30 as our potential target. So the 30 area looks pretty good. AMD is also making higher lows, as you guys could tell. Sorry, not higher lows. It's making lower highs. Excuse me, guys. It's not looking as good as other tickers, so I'd be very careful with AMD right here. As you guys can tell, it just keeps on rejecting near this trend line. So I would like to see us reclaim 158 to turn bullish. We need to get back above 158 to really break out. If we don't, we're favoring consolidation and a slow down trend back down towards 155. ARM is making lower highs here. Unless we hold above 143, we're going to be favoring a move back down to 140. PayPal needs to bounce off 68 to push back up to 69. If we don't hold this, we could be dipping back down to 67.5. Coinbase, if we lose 332, we're going to be dipping a lot more. As long as we hold above 335, we could be looking for a bounce back up towards 350. For Amazon, we're consolidating. If we break resistance at 234, we're bullish, but if we lose 230, we're turning back down. I anticipate some sideways price action. We're just kind of stuck like this. Until we see one of these directions break, it's just going to likely continue to chop around. It's not the best for trading, so I'd be careful with Amazon until we get a breakout. Typically, when you're tight, you do eventually break out, but there's no sign of it yet. If Meta loses 773, we're looking for 764. If we bounce off this, we could be looking for an attempt for the 790s. We need to just hold 773 to bounce. There's still an inverse head and shoulders accumulation, which could be favoring upside for basically the 790s. For Google, we're also looking a bit more bullish. If we end up losing 250, we're going to be trending a lot lower. But for now, we're going to be favoring a move up towards this 257 area. Microsoft is looking more bullish to me. We're going to be favoring the 520s. As long as we don't lose support, I think we're looking good. The VIX is dipping here. We have a gap to fill, so we could be dipping back down to 15 or the 14 soon. So this is still looking bearish. The 10-year is kind of flat. The dollar is not doing much. We do have resistance at 97.33, and crude is dipping. So in all honesty, guys, the charts are still looking bullish. If you look at SPY, we're making higher highs and higher lows. We're holding our 20 EMA. We need to lose 60.75 on SPY to turn any way in shape and form bearish. For now, we're just holding support, so we're still favoring new all-time highs on SPY and the QQQ. And Tesla is still in this channel right here, so there's a good chance that it just continues to uptrend. And we should be looking for a bounce as long as 414 does not fail us due to bad news. We're favoring 435 very soon on Tesla to retest this upper trend line. For now, Tesla looks like it wants to bounce unless we end up losing support. So that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Please enjoy the rest of your guys' weekends. Enjoy some football and have a great time, guys. I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Until then, take care and peace out.